Hi. Hey, second graders, happy Monday. So Mrs. Croft and I are trying this a different way. We're trying to practice our social distancing. And so we're each at our houses and going to try this. So let's hope for the best. And remember, we just all have to hang in there and we will get through it. So today, for Monday, we are going to do lesson 23, day 1. And we're going to be estimating and measuring length. So again, we're measuring length. We know this. We've gotten really good at measuring. The only difference is we're going to be estimating. And if you remember, estimating means making our best guess. Okay, and we've talked about estimating before, but that's what we're going to talk about today. So Mrs. Croft is going to start, and we're going to go through it.
Okay, so first we're going to look at this problem. It says a quarter is about 1 inch across, so it is a good estimate for 1 inch. Okay, we talked about this a lot, right? Because not all of us have a ruler at home, and so we said use what you have. If you can find a quarter, use a quarter, and just make your best guess. Well, that is exactly what an estimate is. So today we're going to be using our best guesses. Ty wants to estimate the length of his toy car. What is a good estimate for its length in inches? All right, so what you have to do then is take a look at the quarter on the screen right here and ask yourself, how many of these quarters do you think could fit across the top of this car? What do you think, Mrs. Walker?
So I think by looking at that quarter, I really think that it would take 2 quarters to estimate the length in inches.
Let's see. 1, 2. I would say about 2 of those fit across, don't you think?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know I could move the quarter, but I learned something new. I can move the quarter.
Yay!
So what I wasn't able to do is make a little mark on the card like we recommend you do so that you put it exactly where you picked up from. That way there's no spaces between where I picked up the quarter and moved it. But we used our best guess, and I'd say a pretty good guess is 2 quarters across, right? So are we going to write 2 quarters across? No.
No.
Right. We're going to say about what?
2, and then you can put IN for inches.
About 2 inches. Perfect. Well, that was pretty easy. All right, so let's look back. This is just asking for the answer that we got. It says, what is a good estimate for the length of Ty's car? Well, what did we put? We put
2 inches.
2 inches. That is a good guess, right? A good estimate.
Mm-hmm. So now if you look at your screen, you can see that there are some other objects that we can use to help us estimate lengths. So we already talked about our little finger or pinky finger for centimeters, and we talked about the quarter for inches, but let's look at the next 2. So a loaf of bread, right? We have that at home. A brand new loaf of bread is about 1 foot. Okay, so that's an estimate we're going to use. And then a meter, 1 meter is a door is about 1 meter across. Okay, so across it is about 1 meter. Okay, so that's something for us to help us in our estimation.
Okay, so let's take a look at the problem. It says Julia knows a marker is about 14 centimeters long. Is the length of the pencil case more or less than 14 centimeters? Which pencil case are they talking about?
That's a good question. I'm thinking they must just think of a pencil case in general.
Okay.
So let's think about how long an unsharpened pencil would be, and it'd have to be a little bit longer than that. So we have to really use our imagination on this one.
So you could really just think about putting a marker up against a pencil, couldn't you?
Yeah.
And in my brain, I can see that picture, and I can see that a pencil would be longer than a normal marker. So could we say that the length of the pencil case is more than 14 centimeters because it's longer than the marker?
Yes, I think that is great.
And did you hear my because? I said because it is longer than the marker. That's how we explain how we know. Sometimes it's hard to figure it out because we think we just know, but we just have to find those words. Because it's longer than the marker. That's exactly how we know, right?
Right.
Okay. Let's look at our exit ticket today. It says, Hannah estimates that Julia's pencil case is 28 centimeters long. Is this a good estimate? Explain.
Well, we have to think back to our last problem about the marker and the pencil case, right?
And how big was that marker?
So that marker was 14 centimeters.
So you know what I'm thinking? In my head, I can see a double. 14 plus, whoops, hold on. Okay, 14 plus, 14 equals, what's that equal, guys?
28.
Yeah, it equals 28. So if I thought about it, then she's saying that two markers next to each other are the same size as one pencil or pencil case. What do you think? I want you to describe this one, Mrs. Walker. What do you think?
Right. I really just don't think that that's a very good estimate because it would be the markers are going to be way too long. So I would say no. Two markers would be much longer. Would be much longer than the pencil case.
Perfect. And that's all that took. So that was pretty easy peasy.
Lemon squeezy.
Okay, so now we're going to move on to our green page. And because it's Monday, we always do the graphic organizer to start with. So we're going to help you guys with that. And then you're going to do the rest of that green page all on your own. So let's take a look. Our vocabulary term that we're investigating today is the word estimate. So we've been talking about that for this entire lesson. But the definition that I would want you guys to write down, so you can pause the screen to make it kind of look like my screen. And it's going to say to make a close guess using math thinking. Now, you are guessing when you make an estimate, but are you just guessing anything? No, you have to use math thinking. You have to think about numbers and what you already know. We call that your prior knowledge, right? We have to use what we already know. If we were going to draw a picture of what estimating looks like, I just drew a rectangle and then I drew some quarters all lined up, and I would say that this rectangle is about 5 quarters, so 5 inches long. Is that how you could do it? You could also use pinkies or any of those other things on the back side of the page that we showed you today. And then you just want to think about some examples. So here's one. A quarter is about 1 inch across, right? What about your foot, Mrs. Walker?
Ooh, so my foot is about 7. No, it can't be more. It can't be more or less than yours. Can it?
I don't know.
Or did you just make that up?
I just made it up.
Shh, don't tell. Okay, so yeah, I think my foot is probably right around 7.5. Does that make sense?
No, I don't know. We'd have to probably measure it. But
And do we want to do that today? No.
So let's say that our foot is a little bit longer than 8 quarters. We would say that my foot is about 8 inches long, right? I didn't actually do that. I was just guessing, but you could totally measure your foot and tell me about how many quarters, therefore how many inches your foot is. And then a non-example of an estimate is an exact measurement. So if you got out a ruler and told me that your foot is 8 2/3 long, that is an exact estimate. That is an exact measurement. That is not an estimate. So if it's exactly how long something is, it is not an estimate. It has to be a guess, an about. Make sense? All right, that wraps it up for today. We
All
will
right.
see you tomorrow. Bye.
Bye.